Welcome back to our YouTube channel. Today I would like to talk about pressure. So what is pressure? In physics, pressure is simply the force per unit area on an object. But I would like to give you a descriptive way to think about pressure in solids. Suppose we have, or suppose you lay down. This is you lying down now. Sorry. And you are being asked to choose someone to step on you. The first option, A, you have to choose a guy wearing a sneakers, a flat sneakers. Your next option, B, you are asked to choose another guy of similar weight, or this time a girl of similar weight rather, wearing heels. So this girl is wearing heels, this guy is wearing sneakers. One of them has to step on you. Who would you choose to step on you? That's a very beautiful example of pressure in play. Now, almost everyone, except maybe something is wrong with you, almost everyone would choose A. The reason why is something called pressure. The smaller area of these heels the girl is wearing would simply have more pressure on your body, which can easily pierce through your skin compared to the sneakers that A is wearing. A has a flat sneakers, meaning it has more cross-sectional area compared to these heels the girl is wearing. So the idea of pressure is simply area in play. The smaller the area, the more the pressure. The bigger the area, the less the pressure. Meaning pressure is inversely proportional to area. And that is why this person has to choose option A to step on him instead of option B. It's still the same reason why if you have a balloon and you have someone wearing slippers, you have a second person wearing heels, the best person to pop the balloon would be the person wearing heels because of the heels has more or would exert more pressure on the balloon compared to the person wearing a regular flat slippers. So the idea of pressure is simply area. But now you might be thinking, what is the difference between pressure and stress? They both have the same formula and they both have the same unit, which is Newton per meter square. Another unit for pressure is also called Pascal. Another unit is also called atmosphere. But the most popular unit is Newton per meter square or Pascal. Now, like I said earlier, you might be thinking, what's the difference between stress and pressure? Now, stress is simply referring to cases where we are discussing about a distorting force. A distorting force is simply a force that acts to change the size or the shape of an object. So a distorting force is any force that acts to change the size or shape of an object. And when we spoke about elasticity earlier on, we're talking about distorting forces, forces that act on objects to distort, to change their shape or to change their size. But when we are talking about a perpendicular force or a normal force, perpendicular simply means 90 degrees. When something acts at 90 degrees to something else, like in this case, if A should step on him, would step on him at 90 degrees. In physics, we like to call that normal. So normal or perpendicular forces, we are talking about pressure. But when we are talking about distorting forces, we are talking about stress. So that is the difference between pressure and stress. Next, I would like to give an example of pressure in play. An example of pressure would be when you talk about your tires. If you have a flat tire and you have a wide tire, which would you prefer to step on your foot? Sorry to pose such a negative question, but you have a flat tire, you have a more narrow tire with a lesser cross-sectional area, and your foot is in place. Which would you prefer to step on you? If you can also think clearly, if you are a physics student, you would think about this formula. Pressure is inversely proportional to area. So the one with the smaller area would have more pressure on your foot, but the one with more area would have lesser pressure on your foot. So pressure is a very vital concept. We also have pressure in liquids as well. In liquids, we have pressure in a sense that, let's say this is a reservoir of water. Pressure in liquids acts differently from pressure in solids. Pressure in liquids increases with depth. That means the more you go down, the more you experience pressure. An example would be you diving into the sea. I don't know if you are a diver, if you ever swam in the sea before, but if you dive into the sea, there is a depth you would go to where even your lungs would be so compressed that you can't breathe properly. You can't even breathe in water, but your lungs will be so compressed that you will die. The reason why you will die is because of the pressure acting on you. So pressure increases with depth. That is why there are certain sea creatures that are built differently to withstand the pressure of the sea. So pressure in liquids increases with depth. That is why the formula for pressure in liquid is giving us density of that liquid multiplied by the height of the liquid multiplied by the acceleration due to gravity. So this is the formula that shows the pressure in liquids or in fluids in particular. So when I say fluids, I mean something that flow. Fluids are liquids and gases because their molecules flow easily. So there are also pressure in gases as well. The air we breathe, we have pressure in it. That particular type of pressure is something we call atmospheric pressure. Atmospheric pressure is something we experience every day without even knowing it because our cells balance out that pressure. Atmospheric pressure acts on us, our cell balances it out. But when you want to see atmospheric pressure in a thing, when you have a thing like a empty Ragolis and air is being sucked out of that Ragolis, the Ragolis would immediately compress. The reason why the Ragolis immediately compress is due to something called the atmospheric pressure. So we also have pressure in gases as well, just like we have pressure in liquids. I would also like to talk about the manometer and the barometer. Now, the manometer and barometer both measure pressure, but the manometer measures pressure in a unique way, and it measures the pressure of gases in particular. So it measures the pressure of any gas you choose or any gas in question. But the barometer measures the atmospheric pressure in particular. So the manometer measures gases, whereas the barometer measures atmospheric pressure of a gas, of air in particular, since air is a mixture of gases. So barometer, atmospheric pressure of air, whereas manometer, any gas in particular. So in the next video, I would like to solve questions involving pressure. Thank you. It says a weightless vessel of dimension 4 meter by 3 meter by 2 meter, that's the volume of the vessel, is filled with a liquid of density 1000 kilogram per meter cube and sealed. What is the maximum pressure the container can exert on a flat surface? If you can recall from the previous video, I said the pressure on fluids is given as density multiplied by the height multiplied by the acceleration due to gravity. Suppose we take the acceleration due to gravity as 10 meters per second square. The conventional way to write for dimension is length times breadth or times width times height. And here we have 4 by 3 by 2, which simply means our height is 2 meters. Our width or our breadth is 3 meters, and the length of the vessel is 4 meters. Since we have that, substituting it in our formula, the pressure is giving us, the density is 1000 kilogram per meter cube, multiplied by the height, which is 2, multiplied by the acceleration due to gravity. So we have our answer to be 2 kilo. We are talking about pressure, so it is Newton per meter square, or we can write it in standard form as 2 times 10 to the power 4 Newton per meter square. So this is how we solve questions involving pressure. Welcome back to another video on fluids and pressure. So here we have a rectangular tank that contains water to the depth of 2 meters. If the base is 4 meters by 3 meters, calculate the force on the base. The density of water is already given as 1000 kilogram per meter square and the acceleration due to gravity as 10 meter per second square. So how do we solve a question like this? First of all, let us write the parameters. So we know that the depth h is given as 2 meters, and the standard form of writing volume is the length by the breadth by the height. And from what we have here, we know that the area is just the length by the breadth, which implies that the length is 4 meters and the breadth or the width is 3 meters. Recalling from our previous video that the formula for pressure is acceleration due to gravity, or for this case, the density of water multiplied by the height multiplied by the acceleration due to gravity. So this is the formula for fluids. But for solids, P is given as force per unit area. And here we are asked to calculate the force. So we have to link both formulas together. Since both formulas involve pressure, we can say equating both formulas to have F over A is equal to density multiplied by depth multiplied by acceleration due to gravity. So cross multiplying, making force the subject of formula, we would have multiplied by area. And from here, we already found our area to be length multiplied by breadth, which is 4 multiplied by 3. That gives us 12 meters square. Substituting that into the formula, the force becomes the density of water, which is 1000 kilogram per meter cube. The height, or the depth rather, which is 2 meters, multiplied by the acceleration due to gravity, 10 meters per second square, multiplied by the area, which is 12. No need to write the units. So solving this, we would have our answer. So punching it into my calculator, I would have so the force is this. Remember to drop your questions in the comment section. I'll be happy to reply.